Oh my god, look at the... Look how close I am.
Introducing 54 milagros, Yordenis Ugas. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the four-time welterweight world champion and boxing's legendary and only 8-division champion of the world. Introducing the one and the only Manny Pacquiao.
So it is fight week for Manny Pacquiao versus Yordenis Ugas, and I'm going to be heading to Vegas now. And I don't know what this video is going to be, just like my social life. I don't know what it is, but I guess I'm just going to show you guys my experience. So I'll see you guys in Vegas. Alright, so many hours later, and I'm finally checked into the MGM Grand. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, nobody cares. But fun fact, the MGM is Manny Pacquiao's favorite venue to fight at. So maybe that'll bring him good luck. Anyways, I'll try to keep this interesting, so on to the next thing. What's up, Jeff?
Who you
Good
picking?
to see you. I'm gonna pick Manny Pacquiao by unanimous decision. I think he still got it.
I think so too.
He still got it.
Another one for Pacquiao.
I think it's going to be a good night for Ugas. How about you?
I think I'm gonna go with Manny Pacquiao via decision.
Right? No, can we come to your house to watch it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was a bit disappointing. Security's kicking us all out now. Didn't get to see Manny or Ugas, but did get to see a couple of fighters, so whatever. So it is fight night finally. I'm heading over to the T-Mobile Arena, and it's time to talk about today's sponsor of this video, nobody, just like my match list on Tinder. But anyway, like I said, I'm going over to the T-Mobile Arena now for fight night. Unfortunately, I could not vlog any of the pre-fight events like the press conference, the weigh-ins. I really wish I could have. It's really unfortunate, but it's also a good idea because it protects the fighters, you know, doesn't let any of them get COVID, you know, before the fight. So at least, you know, it keeps them safe so we get to go to the event today. But yeah, I also want to talk about that, you know, it's unfortunate that Errol Spence did have to pull out. You know, the retinal tear that's really no joke. So I just want to say that, you know, first of all, big ups to Yordenis Ugas for stepping up and Manny Pacquiao for accepting the challenge. But for Errol Spence, I really hope that, you know, everything is all good with him. You know, he makes a full recovery. I really want him to, you know, take his time coming back so that he doesn't, you know, have any serious injury with that. I really hope Errol Spence makes a full recovery. Make sure he takes all of his time. You know, don't get pressured to come back too early before it's fully recovered. Let that eye heal, and, you know, because we want to see him have a good career. So hope we could see Errol Spence have a good career. Hopefully it's not serious. And I'm really looking forward to the fights tonight. You know, everyone's talking about it possibly being Manny Pacquiao's final fight. Of course, they've been saying that for 5+ years now. But I mean, you never know. It really could be his last one. And I'm just excited that for the first time, I get to see him live in person. But anyways, I'll see you guys at the arena. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Oh my God, look how close I am to the arena. That is...
Joining us around the world, live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it's time for the main event of the evening. Introducing you first on my right, he is fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with red trim, fighting out of Miami, Florida, by way of Santiago de Cuba in Cuba. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds. His record stands at 26 wins, 4 losses, with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the 2008 Olympic bronze medalist, tonight making the first defense of his world title. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the current, reigning and defending WBA welterweight champion of the world, introducing 54 milagros, Yordenis Ugas. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks tipped with flames. As the boxing senator, he is fighting out of the proudly representing the Serengani province in the Philippines. He weighed in at a trip of 140 a true icon of boxing, his record stands at 62 wins, 7 losses and 2 draws, with 39 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 4-time welterweight world champion and boxing's legendary and only 8-division champion of the world, introducing the one and the only Manny Pacquiao. And the referee in charge now to give instructions, Russell Mora.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trump's here good. Anything below this boundary line is a foul. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to remind you, protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands. Don't touch your glove. Touch up. Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. The judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Patricia Morse-Jarman scores about 115 to 113. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Dave Moretti both scored about 116 to 112. All three in favor of the winner and still champion Yordenis Ugas.
Wow. Just wow. Okay. I'm back in my hotel. Just got back from the fight. I had a chance to shower, to eat. But wow. What an experience. I've been to a lot of fights. I've been to boxing events before. But to see a legend like Manny Pacquiao witness with my own eyes, I was not prepared. It was such a surreal experience. You know, for any of you who have have witnessed a legend, it's different. Like I've seen boxing matches before, but wow, just like results aside, just to be there in the arena so close and see Manny Pacquiao up close in person, see him fight, you know, it's something I was not expecting to have ever gotten the chance to see him fight in person. You know, I've been watching him fight since for as long as I could remember, but you know, on TV, but being there in person, it's different. I got to actually see him. But anyway, I'm gonna give you guys some post-fight thoughts. I've never done this before. I'm gonna come at you guys boxing ego style, but definitely a lot worse than him, and try to give you my thoughts on the fight. You know, even though, you know, I do film studies on the fights, it's usually after I've had a chance to like watch the fights in slow motion, watch them multiple times, really go through the fights with a fine-tooth comb. So, you know, I was close, but I was kind of just taking in the experience of being there. So, you know, observing the fight like in person in the arena, it's a little bit different. So a lot of my observations might be incorrect. You know, I'll make a real film study after this vlog is over. So after this vlog, I'll make a real film study with. I'll rewatch the fight with you know, TV footage, and I'll make a proper film study. But just going off of memory here, you know, because when you're in the arena, I'm not used to watching fights in the arenas. I'm used to watching them on TV, and it's a lot easier for me to see what's going on. I'm not at that level where I could watch a fight from, a couple hundred feet away, at a weird angle, mind you, and, be accurately able to break down what's going on. But here's what I remember. Early on in the fight, in the early rounds, I don't know how it was actually scored. I know the unofficial score on the PBC broadcast had Pacquiao winning a lot of those early rounds, but from what it looked like, it looked like Ugas was really doing a good job with the jab, and the reason for that, what I saw, was the range. Manny Pacquiao was standing from pretty far outside of his range and in Ugas's range, and so that jab from Ugas was really a problem. And I thought about it a little bit, and this is actually a deliberate strategy that Manny Pacquiao does, where he's used to being the shorter reached fighter in there against welterweights. So what he does is he'll stand actually so far outside, he'll stand outside of his opponent's range, making his range even further. Now, why does he do this? So when he does this, he's already at a reach disadvantage. But when he does this, when he stands so far out of range, what he's doing is baiting his longer reach opponent to reach for him, to reach with that jab. And when they reach with that jab or reach with a hook, a lot of times they'll get out of position and he'll be able to pull away and then either counter them or follow them on the retraction, because Manny is super fast. He's very fast with his feet, very fast with his hands, and seeing him in person for the first time, he really is fast. Seeing him on TV, it doesn't do it justice. When you see him in person, like his feet, the way he could dart across the ring, and his combinations, they're actually scary fast. Like, when people say he's fast, they're not exaggerating. I was a couple hundred feet away from him, and I guess I'm kind of rambling here, but I don't know if I'm gonna edit this down or not, or if I'm just gonna keep it as is. But I'll just keep going here. So Manny Pacquiao it looked like he was trying to do this to Ugas. This is something he successfully did to Eric Morales in his rematches with him. He was able to stand outside of Morales' range, and then Morales would get impatient and actually reach for him. There's a couple instances in the second and third fight or mainly the third fight. I don't remember if this happened in the second fight, but his third fight with Eric Morales would reach in for Pacquiao, and Pacquiao would fade back and then follow him on the retraction and counter him, land a good combination. I think this is what he was trying to do to Ugas. The problem was Ugas was very patient, and he wasn't giving Manny anything to counter. So he was what Ugas was doing is he was standing. He recognized that he was at that far range, and he would not give anything to counter. He would not give Manny anything to counter. He would stay patient. He wouldn't pop out that jab. He would pick his spots. And actually what happened is that Pacquiao was the one who got impatient, and he initiated. Pacquiao got, whether it was through frustration or if he got impatient, but Pacquiao started to reach with his jabs, and it was very apparent very early on that he was, he was actually lunging in with his jabs. I don't know if it looked that way on TV, but definitely in person it looked like he was really reaching for Ugas, and I noticed that, and Ugas was able to let that reach come, and he was jabbing over the top of Pacquiao's jab. So there's so many instances where Pacquiao would reach with his jab, and Ugas would just counter him with his own jab over the top. And that was kind of like the story of the early rounds. Of course, this also set up the right hand to the body, that straight right hand to the body that Ugas was landing. I think those were very successful against Pacquiao tonight. When he would get Ugas would get Pacquiao to sit still for a little bit. That's when he would set him up with a jab up top, and then freeze him with the jab up top, and then shoot the right hand to the body. I think he stung him a few times, really shot the wind out of him, took the sails out. And it was very noticeable how the final rounds, how Manny slowed down a little bit, and Ugas was able to pull out those last rounds. I think those straight right hands to the body really paid dividends. But yeah, going back to the range, it seemed like around round 6, what I noticed, Pacquiao made an adjustment, and he abandoned the strategy of like standing super far away from Ugas, and it looked like he was standing more into his range. He would stay in that middle range where it could become a firefight, that danger zone. And so what happened was Pacquiao was no longer reaching with his jab. His jabs were actually starting to land now. Now I can't really, it was really hard for me to tell if the jabs really were landing because I wasn't watching, I was trying to take in the experience. Like the TV broadcast was on the big screen, but I wasn't looking at the big screen much because I wanted to, get the experience of watching the fight with my own eyes. But it went from, in the early rounds, Pacquiao jabbing and clearly coming short with the jab and getting countered, to Pacquiao would now jab and his not like lunging forward. And I would see, it looked like Ugas's head would kind of snap back. So I think the shots were landing, even though Ugas had a really good high guard. I couldn't really tell like when Pacquiao was punching it, if it got between or around the guard, or if he just completely blocked it. It was really hard to tell. But I'll be able to see from the TV broadcast a little bit better, especially in slow motion. But yeah, it looked like Pacquiao made a good adjustment there, which continued for the rest of the fight. But it seemed like it was a little bit too late. Ugas was Ugas was really good with the footwork, even though he was standing his ground. The thing is, he was able to prevent Pacquiao from doing these, setting up the outside angle and setting up the inside angle. And the reason for that is because he kept up with the footwork. Ugas, he stood his ground, but he wasn't backpedaling. He wasn't like running away and backpedaling to prevent the angles, because you need distance. You need distance to prevent a southpaw or opposite-handed fighter from establishing angle. The only way you could establish an angle on an opposite-handed fighter is if you're close enough to actually step around them, or if your opponent is punching at you, then you'd be able to step around. But what Ugas was doing was in order to keep that distance, was every time Manny would step over to his right or step over to his left, Ugas would be able to adjust instantly. So it made it much harder for Pacquiao to step around. The thing is, what I liked from Pacquiao is he was really trying to neutralize that jab from Ugas. There was a lot of times where he would lead with the straight left to try to split that jab, try to counter it, but a lot of the times it was naked. And I think the reason was because he was anticipating Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao was anticipating a jab from Ugas, so he initiated with the split straight left hand, but no jab would come, so Ugas wouldn't get countered by that attempt. I don't know if Ugas was feinting or if Pacquiao just had the wrong reads on it. It's really hard to tell solo feints from that far away. I don't know if Ugas was feinting and that caused Pacquiao to slip to the outside and try to split with the straight left hand. But that happened a lot, and I like that from Pacquiao, that he was attempting to neutralize the jab, but Ugas was extremely patient with that jab. He wouldn't just shoot it out there to shoot it out there, because that's how you get countered by Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is, as a lot of people say, is one of the hardest southpaws to establish a jab on. If you try to just jab at him willy-nilly the way like Adrian Broner or Antonio Margarito did, he's going to counter you, whether it be with the straight left hand by slipping to the outside, or with the right hook when he slips to the inside of it. He's very good at reading jabs and seeing them coming, but it seemed like he either had bad reads on Ugas, or Ugas was doing a good job of feinting him, but it was hard to tell live. And then another, I guess, thing that really was working for Ugas was that that looping right hand that he kept landing over and over. Or at least I think he was landing. Yeah, it was definitely landing, because every time it showed the highlights after, like in between rounds, it would look like it would land. Pacquiao did a good job of, or a decent job, I guess, of defending it. Pacquiao kept that left hand, that left glove really high, because like those, man, like even though I was pretty far away, those sweeping right hooks from Ugas, they looked really deadly. I know if they landed flush, like say if Pacquiao read that as a straight right and he went to go parry it, he reached out and parried it, and then the right hand would just come around and hit him flush. That's definitely like lights out. Those were definitely lights out shots. Those looked really mean in person. You could hear the pop really when he connected. So Pacquiao did a good job of reading it, keeping his glove up, and that would cause a lot of those right hand sweeping right hands from Ugas, they would land on Pacquiao's neck. They wouldn't land clean, because if those landed like on his temple or on his chin, that's lights out. Kind of like what Marquez did in the fourth fight when when Marquez dropped Pacquiao in the third round. When he came around, it looked like Pacquiao he didn't read it correctly, and it came around and hit him on the temple. I think it would have been the same thing if one of those shots from Ugas landed like on the temple or on the chin. It definitely would have done a lot more damage. But Pacquiao, it didn't look like he wasn't like rocked really hard, so he did a decent job of defending it. He really kept that. It really looked like he kept that left hand up, and it protected him decently from getting hit flush. He still got hit. It was definitely getting hit, but it would land like on the neck, which I guess is not as bad as getting hit on the temple. So I was kind of surprised that Ugas wasn't mixing up straight right hands with the looping right hands. It looked like he was really sticking to that looping right hand. And Pacquiao, it looked like he was open for that straight right hand, because he kept going to block the looping right hand. So if Ugas like feinted it and came right down the middle, it would have hit Pacquiao flush. So I'm surprised Ugas didn't do that. I'm surprised he didn't switch the angle of his right hand, because it looked like it was open for the straight right hand. But other than that, did I score the fight? Hell no, I didn't score the fight. I can't even see what's going on like very clearly. All I know is that it appeared like it was a close fight. Like there's so many rounds where Pacquiao would do a lot, and you can't tell if it's landing or not. You just have to look at like the punch stats, which they were showing. They were showing the punch stats, which is pretty cool on the big screen. You see like the full televised portion. But like I said, I wasn't really paying attention to that, because I've seen many Pacquiao fights on TV like my whole life. So I want to watch like in real time. But yeah, like it's really hard to judge that fight without like the televised. I'm not keeping track of rounds. Like I can't mentally keep track of like who won which rounds. Like there's 12 rounds. I can't remember who I gave round 2 to, or who I gave round 3 to. Like yeah, so I didn't score the fight, but it did appear like it was really close. There was lots of close rounds where like Pacquiao threw a lot of punches, and if some of those punches connected, then you could give the round to him, because Ugas, it was clear that Ugas was landing, but he definitely threw a lot less than Pacquiao. So he was landing. Ugas was landing cleaner, and he was landing at a higher percentage, but until you see the total punch stats as to who actually landed more punches, it's very hard to tell in person. But yeah, I think that might be it for my boxing ego style post-fight thoughts. Like I said, it's my first time doing this, so if you made it this far, thank you for the support. I'm coming on close to 20 minutes now, so I think I'll wrap it up. That's probably gonna do it for this vlog. I had a blast in Vegas. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Manny Pacquiao, who's my favorite fighter of all time, in person. It was truly a surreal moment that I'll never forget. And I could say that I witnessed like an all-time great in person. So whether it's his last fight or if he fights again, I'm glad I got to catch him. I got to catch him before his career is over. So I forgot to mention, the next video will be the film study on the fight. So it's gonna come out a little bit late, but I will make a video with an actual film study breaking down the actual fight. It's gonna be going over the points I mentioned just now, but just in a little more detail with clearer examples and just to make sure if those were correct. So I'll see you guys all in the next one. This video has gone on a little bit too long, and let me know if you want to see more vlogs like this. So see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.